I did this makeup look the other day and here's an in-depth tutorial. So I always start off by lightening my eyebrows. If you feel like your makeup doesn't slap, lighten those eyebrows, then time for skin prep. I always use either Dew Instant Angel or Keats, the moisturizing cream. You must moisturize your face even if you have oily skin. Then I go in with my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm in the shade Universal. Moisturizing will stop your makeup looking cakey and it's so important. Then I go in with the NYX Brow Glue to glue down my eyebrows. Now I have very round doll-like eyes and I've noticed if I line my entire waterline it doesn't look quite right, so I only do half of it. Then I'm going in with my Huda Beauty Easy Blur just around my eyes so I can start doing my eye look. All of the eyeshadows I'm using are from Sampler. They're so affordable and insanely pigmented and like idiot proof to blend. I started off with the darkest color and this is just me being shocked at the pigment, but actually I was watching Stranger Things as well. And then I worked my way round to the inner corner and slightly blurred out the edges. And then I just did the same thing on the other side, trying to make them look like twins, but they kind of look like sisters slash friends. And then I brought that down to my lower waterline. You have to put that makeup on, so I'm putting on even more foundation. Definitely in the market for a new foundation. I was watching one of Uche's videos and she was using the House Labs foundation and I need it. I went in with my Nars Laguna bronzer and I like to be really heavy-handed with this to make sure that my face has dimension, and I especially like to be heavy-handed with this on my forehead. And then I just work on diffusing that out to make sure there's no harsh lines. I always get comments on how I look so snatched, and I think that's also because I put a bit of bronzer on my jawline. Watching this back, I wish I had a different blush color because I think something that was more muted would have looked better with this. Concealer time. I'm an absolute fiend for the Hourglass concealer. I use 3 different shades, teak, maple and umber, and then I'm blending that out with the Huda Beauty concealer brush. I like to make sure this blends into my blush and then I'll go back over it with the excess that's been left on my blush brush. Using the same color that's on my waterline, I added a tiny little wing to my eyes, then going back in with my bronzer and I use this to define my nose. Then setting my under eyes with the Huda Beauty powder. Because it's slightly pink, it helps to really blend in with all of my blush, and then I go in with a different shade. I think this is Blondie to set the rest of my face. And then this is just me topping up some blush. Again, I wish I had a different shade, and then I'm adding in my beauty marks, spraying it down with the Danessa Myricks setting spray, and then using my ABH lip liner to line my lips. This is like my favorite liner ever. And then I got the bright idea to add this silver shimmer. I honestly don't know why. Then I went back in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer just to top up all of my bronzer, again with my Danessa Myricks spray. Then I went in with the NYX Fat Oil in this pinky shade, and that is the entire look. I actually had so much fun doing this look.